Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cam and today's video is very exciting. As someone who makes content all about books, there are two series that I'm especially ashamed to admit that I've never read. The first being Fourth Wing and the second being The Hunger Games. One of those things changes today. I have seen the movies, I'm not a total freak, but I do think that I've only seen Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 maybe one time each. They're not the most rewatchable of them all, you know? As you can see, the copies in our household are very well loved. We've got stains, we've got a bent Songbirds and Snakes, we've got no dust jackets to be found. I believe at least one or two of these have gone through two different moves, so the dust jackets are probably a lost cause, but I'm excited to get into these. I will say I applaud Suzanne and the team for keeping these all consistent looking, because I just heard the news that ACOTAR 6 and 7 are not going to look anything like the bright covers we've come to love. Anyways, I'm the last person to go through these, I believe, in this house. But my sister in particular cannot shut up about Sunrise on the Reaping. Since she read it, the casting, the trailers, the edits that are already coming out, she's freaking out and she cannot wait for me to get here. So Morgan, this is for you. But I think in this first video, I will just get to the original trilogy. I guess it depends how much I have to say, but I imagine it'll be quite a bit. And I'm curious if I'm even going to be able to pick out things that are different from the movies. I know for sure that Peeta is an amputee, and I don't remember what else is different. So anyways, I'm excited to see the source material, what it's all about, and let's get into it. I hit record, started doing something, cell phone. I wish I had a brick. I wish I could throw my phone in the bottom of the ocean, Jumanji style, like chain it up, put it in a hole, it'll wash up in 30 years, and then I'll just send it right back. And I've always said that. We've gathered the essentials. My hair is already overstimulating me. We're gonna try to throw my phone away, but it does match the vibe. If you, no. This is what I get for being on my phone. Anyways, before disaster struck, I was saying my hair is really overstimulating because I need a haircut. And now we've got some sort of tail happening, so just don't mind her, okay? Part 1, the tributes. Okay, I'm kind of anticipating flying through these because they're YA and I know the story somewhat. I'm really interested in the deeper lore, but also the font is massive. As I was prepping for this video, I did find my boyfriend's American dollar bill bookmark on chapter 13. One of my favorite videos on my Bookstagram is when you girl boss so hard he's reading the Hunger Games, or he's not only reading, but he's reading the Hunger Games before you. I doubt if he ever picks this back up, he'll remember. Maybe I'll just do this and then use his dollar bill as a bookmark because I did not prep a bookmark. That might be a little bit too meta because, you know, Hunger Games is like a commentary on. We'll leave it there at lucky number 13. Anyways, baby's about to read the first word of the Hunger Games she's ever read. Should I read you the first paragraph? Let's do it. You've had time to read this book. This is full spoilers, by the way. When I wake up, the other side of my bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth, but finding only the rough canvas cover of the mattress. She must have had bad dreams and climbed in with our mother. Of course she did. This is the day of the reaping. Imagine reading this in 2008 and not knowing what the reaping is. Sometimes when I clean a kill, I feed Buttercup the entrails. He has stopped hissing at me. Entrails, no hissing. This is the closest we will ever come to love. Okay, keep it together. I think I might have to watch the movies as I read the books because I can see this so vividly. She's talking about the hum of the electric fence that doesn't have electricity because they're in District 12 and they don't have electricity. But there's also food if you know how to find it. My father knew and he taught me some before he was blown to bits in a mine explosion. There was nothing even to bury. I was 11 then. 5 years later, I still wake up screaming for him to run. I'm not sure I knew what happened to her dad before now. See, I'm learning already on page 5. When I was younger, I scared my mother to death. The things I would blurt about District 12, about the people who rule our country, Panem, from the far-off city called the capital. Eventually, I understood this would only lead us to more trouble, so I learned to hold my tongue and to turn my features into an indifferent mask so that no one could ever read my thoughts. Even at home, where I am less pleasant, I avoid discussing tricky topics, like the reaping, or food shortages, or the Hunger Games. Prim might begin to repeat my words, and then where would we be? In the woods waits the only person with whom I can be myself, Gale. Gale says I never smile except in the woods. She's talking about how her mom came from a little bit nicer part of District 12 and she was an apothecary. And she said she must have really loved him to leave her home for the seam. I try to remember that when all I can see is the woman who sat by, blank and unreachable, while her children turned to skin and bones. I try to forgive her for my father's sake. But to be honest, I'm not the forgiving type. Katniss walked so Feyre could run. I get it. It can't be a good sign that I already feel like crying on page 24. When she volunteers and Effie calls for a round of applause and the whole district just... It means thanks, it means admiration, it means goodbye to someone you love. Now I am truly in danger of crying, but fortunately Haymitch chooses this time to come staggering across the stage to congratulate me. I really can't wait to learn more about him. I'm excited for Sunrise on the Reaping. Found it interesting when they started the reaping that they had to mention the victors from District 12 and there's only 2, and they said there's only one surviving, Haymitch Abernathy, but then they didn't say who the other one was. Obviously that's Miss Lucy Gray, and it's interesting because obviously Miss Girl hadn't thought about a backstory at this point. I mean, obviously not, because this was 2008 and that was 2020. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Peeta just got called up, and she says, the shock of the moment is registering on his face. You can see his struggle to remain emotionless, but his blue eyes show the alarm I've seen so often in Prey. Yet he climbs steadily onto the stage and takes his place. Effie Trinket asks for volunteers, but no one steps forward. He has 2 older brothers I know. I've seen them in the bakery, but one is probably too old now to volunteer and the other won't. This is standard. Family devotion only goes so far for most people on Reaping Day. What I did was the radical thing. Peeta Mellark and I are not friends, not even neighbors. We don't speak. Our only real interaction happened years ago. He's probably forgotten it, but I haven't, and I know I never will. Oh, Katniss's birthday is May 8th. My birthday is May 9th. Okay, Taurus. It didn't occur to me until the next morning that the boy might have burned the bread on purpose, might have dropped the loaves into the flames, knowing it meant being punished, and then delivered them to me. But I dismissed this. It must have been an accident. Why would he have done it? He didn't even know me. Still, just throwing me the bread was an enormous kindness that would have surely resulted in a beating if discovered. I couldn't explain his actions. We're going to be thrown into an arena to fight to the death. Exactly how am I supposed to work in a thank you in there? Somehow it just won't seem sincere if I'm trying to slit his throat. So his eyes remind her of prey, but his hands are as solid and warm as those loaves of bread. There will be 24 of us. Odds are someone else will kill him before I do. Of course, the odds have not been very dependable of late. Peeta's dad comes to say goodbye to Katniss and give her cookies and say, I'll look after the little girl and make sure she's eating. In the book, her pin comes from her friend Madge, but they're not really friends, but... Shut up. Cookies, a pin. I'm getting all kinds of gifts today. Madge gives me one more, a kiss on the cheek. Then she's gone, and I'm left thinking that maybe Madge really has been my friend all along. They never really explain the significance of her Mockingjay pin in the movies either. So the Jabberjays, which I know from the Songbirds and Snake movie, could repeat whole human conversations to the Capitol, but then people started lying, and that's how the Jabberjays stopped being used. But when they released them, they bred with mockingbirds, creating mockingjays. They can now replicate both bird whistles and human melodies. My father was particularly fond of mockingjays. When we were hunting, he would whistle or sing complicated songs to them, and after a polite pause, they'd always sing back. Still, there's something comforting about that little bird. It's like having a piece of my father with me. I'm so glad that I'm reading this because I would not have known that. Okay, I'm on page 90 now, and I'm very intrigued by Katniss and Peeta's relationship in this book because they have talked a lot more than I think they talk in the movie before the games. Right now, they're about to go present in front of the game maker, and they're talking about each other's skills, and they've already confided in each other and protected each other from getting in trouble, trying to remind herself that he's just being nice so that he can plot to kill her. But I don't know. I think he's just a little sweetheart. It's very cute, but I'm scared. I do think it's way more obvious in the book that he has like had a crush on her this whole time. On page 108, Peeta's talking about how he's sure he wasn't that impressive because he was throwing heavy balls and they were not paying attention. And he says, "One almost landed on my foot." And that reminded me that I don't think we've touched on the fact that he's an amputee yet. Unless he becomes an amputee later. I just finished part 1, the tributes, and now we're moving into the games, and I think in the book, like I said, I'm way more convinced that Peeta has always had feelings for Katniss. Like, this feels very legit when he's telling Caesar. By the way, I love Caesar. It makes me think of Trishy Flickerman. Brooke and Connor fans, if you know, you know. But it's been interesting to read more in detail about the other tributes, like Rue and Thresh from District 11. What's her name? Joanna? There's been some details about her throughout as well, and how her angle on this was to be like timid and shy. Or she was a different winner. She's in Catching Fire, that's why. She won the games by being like timid and shy, but Katniss's angle is like, I guess just being real. Like, she just told Caesar things that she would tell Cinna as a friend about Prim, etc. Anyways, I'm making good time to catch up to where Cole ended off. In one day's time, I'm on chapter 10, and he stopped at 13. Okay, this is news to me. Apparently people from the capital use the arenas of the past like vacation destinations. They'll go there for a month, rewatch the games, tour the catacombs, visit the sites where the deaths took place. You can even take part in reenactments. They say the food is excellent. That's wild. But of course they do. That sounds like exactly something the people at the Capitol would do. I love Cinna so much. And remember this, I'm not allowed to bet, but if I could, my money would be on you. And then a glass cylinder is lowering around me, breaking our handhold, cutting him off from me. He taps his finger under his chin, head high. Ladies and gentlemen, let the 74th Hunger Games begin. Here we go. Okay, I do have to say, it is kind of frustrating and strange to me that the only advice Haymitch had for them was to not go for the cornucopia. Like, yeah, that's a strategy, but then they're like, what do you do after that? And he just kept telling them to stay alive. Which, I mean, yeah, you can't predict the elements or the other tributes, but I'm sure that the other tributes have gotten a little bit more direction. I don't know. But that makes me think something crazy happened at Haymitch's cornucopia. No? Hey, Moj. Katniss doesn't have a backpack in the movie, does she? A backpack? Yeah. Yeah, she does. With a sleeping bag? Yeah. Oh. Correct. I guess I forgot that part. I just got to chapter 16, and I have to say it's really interesting that Katniss feels constantly indebted to Peeta in different ways. Again, not something that I feel like is explained well in the movie, and maybe when I rewatch it, I'll see it, but this is such good context to go into the movies with, because the movie did a really good job of translating a lot of scenes, but you obviously don't get the memories and the flashbacks and the lore in the movie. So now we're hanging out with Rue, and I'm sad because I know what's coming, but they're divvying up all of their stuff, and Rue helped her with her tracker jacker stings. Page 208, making good progress. Katniss and Rue are splitting ways to go execute their plan against the career tributes and get rid of all their food. So I just wanted to read this. I turn and head back to the stream, feeling somehow worried. About Rue being killed, about Rue not being killed and the two of us being left for last, about leaving Rue alone, about leaving Prim alone back home. No, Prim has my mother and Gale and a baker who has promised she won't go hungry. Rue has only me. That sucks. Now Katniss is alone and thinking about Peeta. That cannon that fired early this morning, did that signify his death? If so, how did he die? At the hand of a career? And was that in revenge for letting me live? Okay, see, I just finished part 2, and Katniss didn't even think twice when she found out that 2 people could win if they were both from the same district, and she starts screaming Peeta's name. They like each other, and she doesn't want to admit that. She has, maybe not feelings, but she feels positively about him at the very least. But I guess when you're gonna win and survive, it's worth it. And I think only them and District 1 have both tributes? Question mark? But shit's about to go down. Oh, of course it's not District 1. It's Cato and the girl from District 2. Of course it's Cato. He has just been running the show the whole time. Katniss is starting to realize that Peeta may have been protecting her the entire time. Not just the time that she thought she hallucinated after the Tracker Jackers. Yeah, girl, he's in love with you. I don't know what to tell you. Ahem. You here to finish me off, sweetheart? Who writes that in a YA book? I know it's about murder, and he's mocking Haymitch, calling her sweetheart, but what? And he goes, well, don't step on me. Oh, here we go. Nice of you to find what's left of me. Did Cato cut you? Left leg up high. Lean down a minute first. I need to tell you something. Remember, we're madly in love, so it's alright to kiss me anytime you feel like it. Peeta, what happened to you these few weeks in the woods? The lighting is leaving a lot to be desired right now, but oh, my stool is also gonna break under me. Cool. I did in fact read this in one day yesterday. What? When I said I would read it fairly quickly, I didn't really mean in one day, and I don't know the last time I did that with my eyeballs. Audiobook, easy. Reading with my eyeballs and finishing a book in one day? That's impressive. I think I can contribute a lot of that to basically me just watching the movie in my head. This was very easy to get through for that reason. I mean, obviously, as I kind of told you, there's things that I was learning that expand my knowledge of this universe, but honestly, it was just like the movie, and I love that. We need more adaptations that are word for word. Like Effie's lines, word for word. I actually wish the movie had more of Katniss and Peeta kissing because from what I remember, that storyline's a little bit muddy. Then again, maybe I haven't watched it in a couple of years. And Katniss is having moments in this book of, oh my god, I have to go back to Gale. And I don't know how that makes me feel about Peeta, but when I think about Peeta, I don't know how that makes me think about Gale. So, this was really good. I'm wondering if I need to give like an actual explanation about what these books are about, or if people watching this video will just know. I assume you know, right? I did find it strange that there were no acknowledgements in the Hunger Games. Maybe that just like wasn't a thing for Scholastic books. But yeah, there's not in here either. Suzanne, I want to know who you acknowledge. Are acknowledgements a new thing? Also, I can't believe that the first book is almost 20 years old. That's crazy. Literally, I was 4 when this came out. I do want to try and provide some thoughts on this book besides I was watching the movie in my head. The writing is very easy, kind of as I anticipated. It's funny at parts. We're definitely like very heavily in Katniss's inner monologue, which is obviously a good choice for this kind of story. But I like kind of seeing her sass towards others when they like say things to her. And it did feel a little bit like sentimental or foreshadowy. I don't know. I don't know much about Sunrise on the Reaping, like I said, but I do know that people say Haymitch acts towards Katniss the way he does because he sees so much of himself in her. So during the games, when Katniss realized that her and Haymitch were kind of on the same wavelength with the gifts or the lack thereof. That was interesting to see because it shows that they think the same. I don't know. I don't have anything to critically say about that relationship yet. I do know that he was the one who gave her the heads up that the Capitol is not happy with her. When he gave her a hug, she was like, kind of don't touch me, but okay. And then he's like, honey, sweetheart, they're mad at you. Obviously that is the setup for this next book, and I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm curious, are we gonna go like give our deepest thanks to the baker, Peeta's dad? Like, is Peeta's dad gonna come back up in Catching Fire? Because I'm still shook by the fact that he came and said goodbye to Katniss. And they erased dads. That's my new epiphany. They just took out the dads from the movie when they made it. Like, we lost so many layers of important things about the Mockingjay pin and the singing and her mom. Where are the dads? I just want the dads, okay? I want Peeta's dad in the movie. I need to go watch it, because what if I'm just spewing complete bullshit? I feel like Peeta's dad was visible in the bakery scene, but he's not the focus of the bakery scene in the movie, okay? We need him giving us cookies, and we threw them out the window. Ugh. Anyways, favorite character might be Peeta's dad. Speaking of Peeta, I love his character in the book, and he got his leg amputated after the games. That makes sense, doesn't it? But yeah, he was getting a little bit sassy, flirty towards the end as well. I just saw one of my friends on Instagram post about how much she misses Peeta Mellark, and I was like, I didn't know we were like simping over Peeta Mellark, fangirling on Peeta Mellark, but I do see it. However, he is about 16, so keep that in mind, everybody. Let's move accordingly, and let's move into Catching Fire. Okay, overall, I'm gonna wrap this up. I feel like this was a great intro to the writing style, the series, get me primed for this experience, but it felt almost too easy. And the further we get into the series, the less I'm gonna remember. So I'm excited to dive into this, meet some new characters, see the politics unfold more, and probably, hopefully, Peeta's dad.